Hi everyone, Marcel-Jan here. 5 years ago, this month, I became a data engineer. And to celebrate the fact, I decided to make a video about this and also to answer some questions I've been asked several times since then of people who wanted to know how I made the transition from the Oracle world to the data engineering world. So it all started about 6 years ago. I was a tech lead for an Oracle team at Rabobank, and while I was thankful for the opportunity to try this, I had to say I really started to longing for the day that I was a technical expert and had my hands on the keyboard. So the question was where to go now. Go back to the Oracle expertise that I already did have. I had 19 years of Oracle database expertise, or something else. This question more or less came up for me when I was at a job interview for a company in Amsterdam. They asked me that classical job interview question, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I was saying, well, this big data thing, that looks rather nice. And they said, so what have you done already to get yourself prepared? And to be honest, the answer was, I did half a Coursera course, but I didn't dare to answer with that. But yeah, point taken. Maybe there was some more learning to do. And I did that. I started with the Coursera courses on big data from University of San Diego, California and San Diego. And now, in hindsight, these were by no means even close to a preparation to become a data engineer. But they were more like teasers. And as teasers, they worked for me because my interest was piqued. I really liked what I was seeing here. So I continued doing a couple of more of those, and then I also did a Python course. Actually, 2 courses. These were from Rice University, I think. And I very much loved what I was seeing here. I really started to like Python, and actually I'm still doing that to this very day, because even today I was coding Python for my current client. And I also followed the machine learning course from Andrew Ng. From Stanford University, also on Coursera, and this learned me how what data scientists do, and maybe also how I can interact with them. And with that under my belt, I went to several companies on the job interviews saying I want to become a data engineer, and the answer was either, well, we would love to have you here as an Oracle specialist, or no, not as a junior data engineer. No way. So it took a while and got a little bit frustrated, but eventually I found one company who did like to have me, and that was Open Circuit Solution in Eindhoven. And so February 1st, 2017, there it was on my business card, data engineer. The end. What a happy story. Except the story didn't end there, because then the problem basically shifted from finding an employer who wanted to have me as a junior data engineer, because all the 20 years of data experience didn't count anymore, or now to finding a customer, a client who wanted to have me learning the trade on their side. So this is always a tough nut to crack. And even if I have to start again all over right now, I would not still exactly know how to answer that question. I have 2 ways of thinking about this. I think the best way is to find a company that accepts you for the knowledge that you have and wants you to grow. And one company that is very good at that is our daughter company, Bluemine. At Bluemine, I've seen people come in without very much experience, and they come out as full-fledged data engineers or data scientists ready to take on the world. So that's one way of looking at things, and that seems to work very well. I did go a different route. I was thinking, so what if people could see me working on these products that they want me to work on their site? What if I can somehow share that? And I decided to create YouTube videos. I created YouTube videos on Hadoop at first. And then I created basically videos on how I did certain side projects, like on Elasticsearch with Python and Pandas and all kinds of other stuff. Now, this won't make you the next Nerd Cubed or PewDiePie of data on YouTube, and you probably won't earn a buck with that. But that is fine because there's a different way of thinking about this. And that is the way I went, the route I went. Because now you can share these links to your YouTube videos on your resume. So when you have a client or an employer who wants a certain profile with certain products, you can show the videos that you made working with these products. So that is one thing where you can go. And this actually at one time brought success for me. So sample size of 1, not a big one, to be sure, but I still do this. I still put in links to relevant videos if I don't have the experience already under my belt. And so there was one company that accepted me. I got to work there, and they were doing a lot of interesting stuff. And after a while, I was thinking, well, I could stay here if I could stay, become an employer. And they accepted me, and I became a data engineer there. End of story. Happy ending. Except it was not. Now, for some reason, this job changed to my personal nightmare job, where I was, for some reason, not able to do anything good. Management didn't seem to think of me very highly. And when it happens, at a certain point you're thinking you're just you and you have a problem and you're not capable of anything. But the best thing is to really run very quickly to that door and find a place where you are able to operate at full efficiency, which I, in hindsight, did much too late. I should have run a little bit faster to that door. But eventually, fortunately, at this company, I met someone from DIKW, my current company. And this is the actual happy ending of this story because, this is a very interesting company, I have to say. I really love working here. They put up with all my crazy schemes. I created, I can think of several companies where I worked for that if I would say, I created 2 commercials for you on YouTube, they would say, you did what? And here they say, great, cool. We're so happy because we didn't have that yet. So a lot of fun doing all these things, creating new courses, and it's just a great company. I think it's a great match for me. If it's a great match for you, you have to ask for yourself because there is something special about the IKW. If you are on an assignment, you get a percentage of the hourly rate, and this pays really well, I have to say. No complaints at all. But if you don't have an assignment, you get sort of a minimum wage. So you have to think about this for yourself if you want to take on this challenge. And I have to say, for me, it totally works. I never been without an assignment for almost 3 years. So it's definitely possible to earn your salary here. Anyway, so there's that. So now another thing about data engineering that I have to say is kind of interesting is things are moving fast. Now, since I started working in IT, everybody's always saying things are moving fast. Yeah, but data engineering and data science also, things are moving especially fast. Definitely faster than I've experienced at Oracle. At Oracle, you had a database release every several years. So by the time the new release was, you had a couple of years to think about, maybe I should upgrade my certification or follow a course or anything. But here, one day everybody's using Hadoop, and then 2 years later everybody's suddenly using Spark, but not on Hadoop, but on S3 buckets, and then suddenly everybody's running to Data Build Tool or something other project, other products. A lot of open source, which is cool. So things are moving fast, and there's a way, you have to find a way to keep up with that. The way I look at this is basically like digging for knowledge. At first you're just digging on the surface and you find out, so what does this do? And why is everybody now using Data Build Tool or Spark on S3 buckets or things in the cloud? So you find that out, and then it's time what I call the Docker phase, my Docker phase. You try to find out, so how does it work? So I find a Docker image or a multi-container solution to run on my laptop, and to find out what it does and what if it can put in a data set I like, see if I can get any visualizations or anything, whatever the product is. And then when you are able to work on this product for on daily basis, then you get to a phase, the daily use phase, where I'd say you really find out what the upsides and the downsides are of the product, and you really find out quickly what things the product can do and what it's definitely not a good fit for. And eventually, when you work very long with it, you get to a phase called mastery. But I think in data engineering we rarely get to this phase, because by the time you get to mastery, actually everybody's using a different product and you should probably move on. So so there's that. To put it differently, when I started at DIKW, if you want to get in at DIKW, horrible abbreviation in English. When you get in DIKW, you have to give a pitch what your worth will be, your extra worth will be, what you will be adding to the company. So this one was one slide in my pitch 5 years ago, or not 3 years ago. Basically, it's like this. So you keep hearing about a product, everybody's starting to use this apparently. So what I do is I start with creating a dossier in Evernote. I use Evernote for my for this kind of stuff. Then if it looks like it's really a product that everybody's starting to use and maybe I should know more about, I follow a course, maybe on Udemy, because these courses are quite cheap. Then it's time for the Docker phase, basically experimentation, try things out, maybe a little side project, just trying out what it can do. And when you've done that, it's time to teach someone else. And YouTube videos are a good way to teach someone else, whoever wants to see your video. And when you do that, by all means, share it in all channels appropriate. And then, of course, you can do what I did, put links to that on your resume, and then you might get lucky and start working on this on a daily basis. And then basically the hype cycle starts again, because there's another product that also needs your attention. So yeah, that is how I learn and keep learning in this brand new world. Of course, there's a faster way to become a data engineer or learn a lot on the data engineering. Sales pitch. I created this course together with several other colleagues from DIKW, the Certified Data Engineering Professional course. This is the course that I wanted to have when I started in this field, and it definitely will help you, give you a big boost in the new data engineering world. Anyway. So one last question is, so what about the next 5 years? And I've been thinking about this. I'm not really, not entirely finished thinking about this, but probably, of course, now learning is never done. And also maybe I'm thinking already about possible new courses. Maybe shorter courses than the Certified Data Engineering Professional course. And maybe an ebook or something. Write an ebook, but these age fairly quickly in this world. Also, I am now looking at ebooks I bought 5 years ago, and they're definitely not good enough anymore. So that you really have a short use of that. So anyway, that's maybe I'll in 5 years I'll come back with a video on how that worked out. So. Anyhow, I hope this answered your questions if you're thinking about getting into data engineering. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.